Hello, welcome to my channel, Wing Spiritual Clarity. My name's Wendy Wing. I'm doing a psychic tarot reading for you today, tuning in to the day's energies, seeing what divine messages of guidance come through. This is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. All right. Hope this reading finds you happy and healthy and enjoying your journey to becoming more and more yourself. Wow, all reversals until that card. Wow, another reversal. Okay. So the overall energy of today's reading is the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Very stuck energy. So the Knight of Pentacles upright. Slowest moving knight of the deck. Usually it's the horse isn't even moving. He's got in this card, in this image, he's got one hoof up. But the Knight of Pentacles, slowest moving knight of the deck, but he's definitely going to get to his destination because he plants those seeds, those pentacles along the way on his journey. So it's taking him longer, but he's cultivating what he wants along his journey. So it's a different way of traveling, of moving forward. It's slower, but it's taking with you what you prefer, planting the seeds of what you desire. So Knight of Pentacles in reverse feels like very stuck, maybe rudderless, not sure what direction you want to take. And I'm definitely getting this feeling of not planting the seeds, not cultivating in the present where all your power is, in the now, seeds of what you want going forward. So an example of that is, I'll be happy when. I'll be happy, I'll be joyful when I get to this point, when I cross this finish line, when this something happens, so you are creating with your own belief system a resistance to joy, happiness, fun, whatever state you prefer, and you're saying, I'm not going to be happy until, well, so be it. Instead, can you go towards a destination, or you're waiting for something to happen, and cultivate the energy that you want, so when that thing happens, when you get to that destination, you have cultivated the energy that you prefer. When I have been too focused on results, on getting to some finish line, some ending, and I don't cultivate what I want along the way, then it feels kind of shallow. I don't feel happiness because I haven't brought it along with me, so it's not activated in my space. So it feels like the messages that I'm seeing about this reading is all we are promised is right now, the present time. That's where all your power is. So how you're showing up right now is important. And if you don't like where you are right now, how you feel right now, how can we cultivate energies and be the person we prefer to be right now? And if we have some limitations, or I'm not enjoying life, I'm not happy, then getting to some destination is not going to magically activate those energies. You have to engage in those energies and bring them with you. Hope this makes sense. All right, what else do we need to know about this Knight of Pentacles in reverse? Ooh, it's a lot. It feels like this is a story that's come out. This is like half the deck. A lot of grief. A lot of investing in what you thought was love and realizing that that is not love. A lot of dealing with immature, emotionally immature people, with lying, cheating, stealing people. Feels like I'm getting a very clear picture here. Someone who created a false reality, made you believe they were the one, this is the best relationship. Feels like this was a very controlling, manipulative relationship. Someone who was impotent, someone who didn't have that vitality. Feels like you bring that magic je ne sais quoi to every room you're in. There's some spark about you. Ooh. It looks like they were taking advantage of your mother wound, not feeling like you're enough. Not knowing your own value. Maybe an abandonment wound that they took advantage of. So you'll tolerate poor behavior. Breadcrumbing. Yeah, someone who doesn't know their own worth would settle for very little. And they took advantage of the wound of not wanting to be alone. It looks like you've allowed what you've gone through to create an inner strength and inner confidence within you. Even though it feels like you might be healing from betrayal trauma, abandonment, a lot of really painful core wounds. So I can get why you might be feeling stuck, not sure what direction to take. Wow. What would help the viewer out of this stuck energy? What would be helpful? Another story. Once you see what's really going on and who's really around you, instead of trying to fix it, trying to make something work, it feels like there's a need to be discerning and see how people are acting around you. So not from a lens of how to make this work, how to make people happy, but just see who people are, how they prefer to treat you, how they're showing up, who they prefer to be with. There's a need to get out of this. Ooh, Knight of Pentacles in reverse showing up again. Let's see what's around it. Yeah, there's a need to make different choices. These are tough choices. This is like starting over, new beginning. I see now why. I also get that if you've been in a relationship or an environment that is not conducive for your well-being, that there's also this need to acknowledge that nothing that you want grows in this environment. And it is not about you, but it's about choosing a different environment, choosing yourself, choosing something new, going after what you desire, following your highest excitement, being willing to learn from a new vantage point. I think part of what I'm also perceiving is there might be financial difficulties that are keeping you in an environment and in a maybe relationship or relationships that you do not prefer. Yeah, it feels like you might be in an expired relationship, expired environment. Nothing is growing for you. Feels like I'm talking to somebody who's very intuitive, and these are tough decisions because you're the one that has to live with these decisions. The decision to stay in a stuck environment where nothing grows, or to move on and figure things out on your own. It feels like nobody else can make this decision for you because you're the one that's going to have to live it. But it feels like there's several messages coming off this overall energy. I think in my life, when I realized nothing will grow here, nothing will grow in this environment, I've had that in jobs, like trying to stay, trying to make something work. And the more I try in that energy of trying to fix it, trying to make something work, the more miserable I become. If it's a home environment or a relationship, also trying to fix it, trying to make it work. Especially the longer I've been in a relationship, a job, the more I feel this like, well, I've got to make it work. I've invested so much time and energy, but there needs to be an assessment. If nothing that you plant, no desires, nothing's growing, then it feels like there needs to be an assessment, and only you can make that and make those choices. All right. Hidden blessings. We've got another Knight, this time the Knight of Cups in reverse. Knight of Cups in reverse feels like a false reality. Someone creating a false reality. Okay, if this is true, it creates a cognitive dissonance, and you might have a masking way you show up in this environment, and then you have your own thoughts, your own feelings. If you have to mask who you are to show up in an environment, then you're not really free to be yourself. Feels like you're not allowed to have your point of view. Feels like to be in this cognitive dissonance, this false reality, you have to pretend. Feels exhausting. I think once you realize that this is not reality, that there's some separate reality, some separate person that I'm expected to be, to stay in this environment, and it doesn't feel happy. It feels wildly disappointing. What's the hidden blessing in this? Feels like right away just recognizing, instead of continuing to unconsciously give more and more of your energy, your time into something that's not for you, you can't be yourself. It feels like there's a lack of care for yourself. Maybe you've even been, I'm hearing trained, like behavior modification. All right. It feels like seeing this, becoming conscious of it, is it's a lot to process. But it feels like it's being done for you to realize that this is not reality. And so to invest any more time and energy into trying to keep some false narrative afloat, some false reality. It feels very confusing if you choose your reality, if you choose to go in a different direction. kind of leveling out, and it feels very confusing, very scary because of this cognitive dissonance that you've been in. I think it's very powerful for people to be conscious of what's really happening and who they really are and who is really around them. Feels like I'm talking to somebody who was raised to decenter your own needs, your own wants, trained, conditioned to put others, center others. That your happiness does not matter. How selfish of you to want to be happy, to have your own needs and wants and desires. Feels like there's this whole false reality of needing to be in partnership, that your value, you are only valued if you have a partner who is perceiving you and loving you and accepting you, validating you in your experience. So then you center others. This might be people-pleasing, fix-it energy. So when you become conscious, the blessing is the recognition of how unhappy you are, how out of alignment you are. It's very confusing. Your nervous system is completely dysregulated. Anxiety. Feels like the longer you've been in this type of relationship, the way you relate to others by ignoring yourself and centering others, following them into delusions, agreeing with their perspective and ignoring your own. It feels like you feel robbed. Realizing what you've really been engaging in, what type of activities, that it doesn't lead to happiness. It doesn't lead to being cared for and loved. When you chronically abandon yourself and your own needs, then magically others don't come in and take care of you. Instead, it informs everybody how you abandon, how you were raised to abandon yourself, abandon your needs, abandon your wants, and center others. That activity leads to mistreatment, because you're setting the precedent by how you treat yourself. Not how you wish others would treat you, but how you allow and how you were conditioned to allow others to treat you. Feels like there's a lot of difficult awakenings, but they're hidden blessings. Seeing what type of treatment you've tolerated, so you can make different choices going forward. This is happening for you to see, to wake up. Once, at least for me, once that bell is rung, the bell of consciousness, and I see what's really going on, I couldn't become unconscious again. I couldn't ignore it, which I'm glad. Even though it was painful to see what was really happening, it's the truth, it's reality. And if you are in a delusional cognitive dissonance space, then it's so confusing purposefully. But when you are willing to see yourself and your reality clearly and honestly, then you can start making changes from the truth, from reality, and change and shift who you are and change your environment and shift. It's taking your power back and making decisions. It's a lot of deconstructing from those conditioned ways that you were raised and limiting beliefs. All right, what you're leaving behind is the Magician reverse. So you're leaving behind people who feel that they have the right to manifest for you, block your manifest, that you're not allowed to manifest for yourself, to create for yourself. Support character. So it feels like you were raised maybe with people who were constantly blocking what you want, what you desire, what's for you, and raised to center others, and that something's wrong with you inherently if you don't adhere to this belief. This feels like a very toxic belief system, very controlled environment, very controlling, maybe the society you were raised in, the government, the family group feels very controlling, very manipulative, deciding for you. And so it looks like you're leaving that behind and learning how to make your own decisions for yourself, taking the lead in your life, decentering others and centering yourself and making your own decisions. This in itself sounds kind of easy, but if you've ever gone through this and you're starting from a vantage point of confusion, what did I just wake up from? Who am I really? Who am I really around? What have I really been working with? What have I been investing in? And so there's this spark of needing to take the lead, make your own decisions, become more conscious of what's in your environment, who's in your environment, making tough decisions for yourself. All right. How to get the most of this energy is the King of Swords in reverse. Say less. It feels like others have manipulated you through trying to manipulate the story, the narrative about you, which got you to pulled you from caring about yourself and going after what you want and trying to get people in this in a toxic environment to understand, to care. I think what I'm getting here, how to get the most of this energy, is let them think whatever they want. Let them say whatever they want, and not waste your energy trying to convince anyone of anything. Let them show you. Let the people who say negative things about you show you how they really feel about you. If you have to convince someone of your point of view and to care about you, then they're not your friend. Realizing that's not beneficial. That's someone that's either goes with the flow and says yes to whoever's in front of them. It's not worth it. I think you might be able to see that if there's a need to make some difficult decisions, maybe cut people. Yes, thank you. Cut people out. King of Swords upright with the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. Feels like people have told a story to you, about you, to others, trying to control you from finding your independence, finding your freedom, because they benefit from you being dependent, codependent. Whoever these people who feel entitled to your narrative, to judgment of you, to criticism of you. Cool. Feels like you're making decisions to cut some people out. If they show you that they're not supportive of you, instead of trying to convince people, be like, all right, cool, then we're going to part ways. Tough decisions. These are tough decisions, but it feels like you're trying to get out of this Knight of Pentacles stuck energy where nothing will grow, where you're not making any moves in the direction you like, and you're not happy. Nothing will grow in this environment. So even if you plant seeds of happiness, of joy, it's like these people are saboteurs. They don't want you to center yourself, your needs, your wants. These people feel very entitled to your energy, your time, and they're taking advantage of unhealed wounds that you have. All right, what's supporting you is the sun, clarity, joy, happiness. Feels like you're choosing your happiness, seeing things more clearly, wanting to create an environment where you can be happy, where your inner child feels safe to come out and play. Not where you have to be masked, not where you fit in, but where you belong. Where you can be your authentic self. Not trying to fit in and fix and try being a support character, but being your own main character energy here. Looks like that's very supportive of you right now. Knight of Wands upright is a builder, someone going after their highest excitement, going towards what makes them happy. And I get the feeling with the Queen of Cups in reverse that people have taken advantage of your kindness, of your woundedness, of lack of value in self, lack of worth, and your overgiving quality, your kind-heartedness. It looks like the antidote for that is the Ace of Cups, learning how to love yourself. Not trying to convince the people around you to care about you so you can get some of that validation of your worth and value and love, but taking out the middleman and learning how to pour into yourself. And imagine what can happen if you stop pouring into all these people who don't show their care, love, understanding of you. What if you pull your energy away and start pouring it into yourself? What if all that fix-it and healing energy, instead of constantly exhausting yourself by trying to fix others, that you turned that energy towards yourself, started filling your own cup and deciding from self-love to create healthy boundaries. No means no. You don't need to then convince the person to be comfortable with your decision, making decisions. No. Yes. No. Not interested. And that being the final. It's not your job to make others comfortable with your loving yourself. Also, self-love is not being in environments where you're not feeling cared for. Making tough moves for yourself. When something similar in my life, when I started learning how to love myself, it didn't feel like love and kitten kisses. It was tough. It was scary to put up boundaries where there had not been boundaries before, and to hold my space and do it shaking, but do it anyway, because I love myself. And I wanted to show myself how to protect myself, how to treat myself how I want to be treated. Not only to show myself what love is to me, what I perceive as loving, but also the more I love myself, the more it informs others of how I want to be treated because of how I treat myself. I stopped being so hard on myself and started learning how to love and nurture all parts of myself, not abandoning parts of myself, not judging parts of me as bad, but loving all parts. So, all right, what to be mindful of is the Empress in reverse. Mother wound. Perceiving that feminine, divine feminine is weak or evil. Feminine is evil or less than. This feels like a mother wound, a core mother wound. Some of you have a core mother wound. Just take this if it resonates. And it feels like it's in or around your heart chakra, heart space. A mother that rejected you, that judged you, projected what they couldn't have about themselves onto you. Other, wrong, not enough, not right. A lot of judgment. Very early on. Which feels like it started this wound of, because as an infant we are dependent on our parents, on the people in our environment to care for us. Our survival depends on it. So when a core wound comes in so early, I'm seeing like infancy, child, like early on being made to believe that something is wrong with you. And so, yes, convincing, trying to do whatever strategies to get your mom and the people in the environment to care for you so you could survive might be what you are ready to release, this belief that there's inherently something wrong. And by loving yourself, you can find those beliefs and recognize that they are not true, and that your job is not to convince the people in the environment around you anymore. You're the adult. And so to reparent yourself, help retrain your thinking and your belief systems to love you, to care about you. You are worthy. You are lovable. And so change that core wound and stop operating from that insecure place the more you understand about those wounds, and step into the healed version of yourself. All right, anything else that the viewer needs? Again, the Sun card coming up. This Sun card, so there's the more typical, like the Sun card in what's supporting you. This Sun card is being kept, guarded, contained. Someone trying to control and your happiness, trying to control how you show up, why you show up. Someone very controlling. I'm hearing the, what is it, from Pink Floyd? Is it Dark Side of the Moon? Selling, so you wish you can tell. Heaven from hell, moonlight. There's, my birds are like, you're singing? It's about giving up your role in a cage for a leading part. You gave up a leading part in a war for a role of a cage. I'm not sure. I bet you guys can add that in the comment section. but it feels very kept. And it feels like realizing that a comfort zone, being comfortable and being kept, is not happiness, is not freedom on a soul level. So, all right, I'm going to do an extended reading. If this has been resonating, there's a link in the description box below. Takes you to part 2 on Patreon, where I'll be looking at health, relationships, creativity, new opportunities, and career and finance. So if you're interested in continuing the reading, I'll see you over on Patreon. If not, have a great day. Hope that was helpful.